Okay, so you all are a sixth grade family and consumer science course. Normally, these are just kind of general knowledge, so we'll just touch base on like each of the topics. So today we're going to focus on nutrition, so it's just going to be like a broad overview. And obviously we would have lessons after this to go more in depth, so we'll get to that in a second. So today we're going to do understanding nutrition and reading nutrition labels. And this is your bell ringer. If you can take a couple minutes, maybe like 2 minutes to answer this with your table mates. And then if you finish that early, you can read over the competencies that we're going to cover today. So start on the bell ringer.
Okay. What factors affect a person's nutrient and caloric needs? Exercise. They're pregnant.
Do you need a pen?
No, I got mine
Oh,
already
okay.
finished.
What did you?
Did I get it
What is
right?
the what? I don't know what career thing.
I think that's later.
Yeah,
Oh.
those are good.
That's what I'm talking about. We got this, Troy.
Oh, you guys are smart. You got all the ones I wrote down.
Oh, are we supposed to write it down? We just talked
Or if you
about
can, yeah, just as long as you know some.
We got it. Chandler's got it.
Okay, so everybody has a couple written down, it looks like. So we'll get to that in a second. So our competencies for today, explain the roles and functions of individuals engaged in food science, food technology, dietetics, and nutrition careers. We'll get to that. Analyze nutritional data, and analyze nutritional needs of individuals. All right. My computer freeze. There we go. Okay. So what did some of you guys write down for your bell ringer? Let's start with you, Jordan.
I put athletic activity, sleep, and stress.
Awesome.
That's what I put.
What about the group in the back?
We talked about maybe like their level of activity, or if someone's pregnant, they probably should eat more.
Okay, that's interesting. I hadn't thought of that one. What about you guys?
We said food and exercise.
Okay. You all had some good ones.
We had weight, age, gender, health issues.
Awesome. What about you guys?
Pretty much level activity, diet, stress.
Awesome. Okay, those were some really good ones. So I had age, activity level, health, and gender. So age is kind of obvious. The little ones are going to need a lot more nutrients to build up their immunity, and kind of on the other end of that spectrum, the elderly folks. Activity level, if you're very active, always in the gym, always doing like running or something, obviously you're going to require more calories because you're going to be burning more calories. So you're going to need to balance that intake, outtake, or output. And then your level of health, obviously, if you're like malnourished and you go to see a dietitian, they're probably going to recommend that you eat certain foods. And then gender, we typically see that males require more calories, but obviously all of these other things factor in. So if a female is really active, they might require the same amount of calories as a particular male. So good job, guys. So our career of the week is dietitian, and they're experts in nutrition science. And if you follow along on your sheet, you'll see that I put some blanks. So I would just have them like fill it in to make sure that they're following along. Typically you would go and see a dietitian. Some people go if they're trying to lose weight, or like pregnant women, just to make sure that they're getting all of their vital nutrients to make sure that the baby is going to be healthy. So you can sometimes get a bachelor's degree in more broad fields, so like nutritional science, community nutrition, public health nutrition, food nutrition, dietetics, and human nutrition. So what is a nutrient? A nutrient is a chemical substance in food that helps maintain the body, which obviously we all need nutrients to survive. So the classification of nutrients, I'm sure you all know some of these. So there's 6 big categories. So vitamins, minerals, water, protein, carbohydrates, which includes simple and complex, and fats. And I wrote down some notes here just that I thought were kind of interesting. So for protein, you are supposed to, your daily intake should include 15% protein, which seems like a lot. I'm sure a lot of us probably have trouble getting that. Carbs is an easy one, 45 to 65%. And then fat is 30 to 35%, which can be a little high, so keeping it around 20 to 25%. And then vitamins and minerals is pretty similar for both genders, but then if we kind of factor in the age and health status and all that, it might get a little different. So there's that. So we're going to do a little activity, and this is just kind of to help guide us. So does anybody know what this is called? It's on Nutrition Facts. It's called a nutrition label, and it's pretty much on any food that you buy, obviously with the exception of produce, which one group will have today, but you can usually look that information up online. So when you're reading a nutrition label, you want to start at the top to see what the serving size is. You can measure it out if you want, or kind of eyeball it, just to make sure that we're not eating too much of whatever it is, especially if it's junk food, because those calories and fat and sugar are going to add up really fast. And then servings per container, you can kind of eyeball if you don't, measure out your ingredients. So then you want to look at the calories, which is always going to be right under the amount per serving. Oh, sorry. And then you want to look at calories from fat and make sure that that number is not too close to our calories, because that means that a lot of the whatever the food is, a lot of it is fat, which is not good. So this area right here we want to try and limit. So total fat, saturated fat, cholesterol, and sodium is a big issue with packaged foods. As a preservative, we want to try and avoid sodium, especially if your family has a history of like high blood pressure, which mine does. So I kind of have to watch that. And then over here is your percent daily value, which is based off of a 2,000 calorie diet, which some of us might be lower or higher depending on our level of activity and all that good stuff. And then our vitamins and minerals is at the bottom, which we always want to check and make sure our foods have some of those. And then just footnotes, it says, if you require 2,500 calories, you just want to keep like your total fat, saturated fat, cholesterol, under these numbers. So, alright, so for our activity, you can write this down on the back of your piece of paper if you'd like. So I'm going to pass out a couple different foods, So what I tried to do was buy a junk food type thing. Packaged foods for the most part, and try to come up with an alternative. So I'm going to pass out 2 pretty similar foods to each group, and I just want you to compare them and write down a couple things. So the cost of item, I'll come around and tell you what it is because I have my receipt. The serving size, which is going to be at the top. The cost per serving, which if you need help with that, I can help you. The first 5 ingredients. A lot of the packaged foods, especially sugary ones, are going to have high fructose corn syrup, which is something we want to try and avoid because it's essentially like a man-made sugar, so our body isn't really good at digesting it just because it's not a natural ingredient. And then you want to look at the calories and a brief summary of the 6 essential nutrients. So vitamins, minerals, water, protein, and fats, and carbs, sorry. And yeah, you can do that on the back of your paper, and then we'll kind of talk about them as we go around. So I'm going to pass out some of these, and I had one, which I used to love these things. They're like the Lunchables pizza ones. I don't know if you guys ate these things. 270 calories for 3 little pita things, probably about a quarter cup of cheese and a couple pepperonis. So I made, it's kind of like mixed together, but I made an alternative last night. So I took a piece of pita bread, which you can get anywhere. I think I got mine at like Walmart or something. And I think it's $1.50 for 1 pita. So I only used half a pita, so it's 75 calories. So I have like a bunch of little slices to kind of resemble the shape, because little kids are really, they're going to be more willing to try food if it's in like fun shapes. And then I cut up some string cheese, which was 50 calories, a light string cheese, and then some pesto, which I think was about 50 calories. So even though my calories might be a little close to my packaged item, they're good ingredients. So you just want to keep that in mind when you're looking at your ingredient list. There shouldn't be any that you can't read the words. So I'm going to go ahead and pass these out. I'll give these to you, Jordan.
Oh, yeah.
And you should be able to pick out which one's the healthier option. And you all might need to look up the nutrition facts for pomegranate. That's what that is. And I have the nutrition facts for that one as well.
Well, which of those do you think is healthier?
Alright, so I'm gonna come around and tell you guys your
Yeah, I don't even
costs.
see how those are compared.
So your Doritos are gonna be $3, and the organic chips are gonna be $2.99.
190.
And then Jordan, your Cheez-Its are $2.59, and the Annie's crackers are $2.
I
And
bet that has
then
more
for you
protein.
guys, the Gushers were
That's
$1.50.
4 grams.
Wow.
Oh, really? Because I definitely spent like $50, but that's alright. Okay, so how much is the pomegranate? $1.98. So $1.98 for the pomegranate, and what did I say?
No,
$1.50
it's less
for the
than that.
Gushers.
It's like, well, it was
And
at
then
Target,
you
so maybe it's
all-
more, but it's like one. They're not expensive.
Oh, that was $1. And then these,
I'll be having this. My dad is obsessed with those.
so
Like,
it's gonna be like 10 cents for that one. Alright, so your oats are $1.94, and that one I took out of a box in my apartment, so, I wanna say they're like $3 or so for 6 of those. And then make sure you pay attention to the, okay, so the serving size is 2 bars, because I know some of the Nature Valley bars, the serving is only 1, but they give you 2 in the package, so.
50 cents. Could do that. What's the serving size of that? Like,
Yes.
a cup?
What were the 6 essential nutrients?
Okay, so vitamins,
got it done,
minerals, water, protein, fats.
So they're almost the exact same, except this is more expensive.
Really?
Yeah, health-wise, they're almost dead on.
Bet your Cheez-Its taste better too.
15.
That's there. That's 1.5 cups, so it's about a cup.
But this is made with organic wheat.
Double that then.
About 15 cents.
I'll probably write down the first 5 ingredients here.
You're a math major now.
Yeah, I still don't use it as calculating. First 5 ingredients. Alright, here we go.
The reason I did this one was because that one has a lot of sugar and I think sodium in it. So you can make your own like oatmeal bars. I know that's probably kind of a weird
Yeah.
like comparison. I was trying to think of something because I would think of that as being like a healthy breakfast and
That should be like frozen.
yeah.
Is that the only ingredient in this? meal?
Oh, I have it. Sorry.
Ingredients: 100% whole grain rolled oats.
Okay,
Whole grain
so
rolled oats.
your calories.
It's gotta be healthier than my breakfast.
So the serving size is 1 plate.
Donuts
It's
and
not a very
bacon.
balanced breakfast though. If you're just
Some
eating
bacon.
Calories. Alright,
Yeah,
so this
first
one
5
was
ingredients, so there's 3 ingredients.
109
Whole grain brown
oil,
rice, or sorry,
sugar.
whole grain brown
Yellow.
You
rice.
said 150
and
for
salt.
half a cup.
And then calories, there's 35 calories.
What's calories?
Alright.
And then you
Yeah.
have
Free.
no
Yeah,
fat.
that's weird. Oatmeal must give you tons of energy.
It does.
No, it's only 99 cents.
Even though they don't really say
7
that.
grams carb and 1 gram protein.
So
So
what's
not
it?
much to that one.
Should have written down
It's water, minerals, vitamins, carbs.
Yeah, it is. The one that I got was not very good. Normally it would produce more
I don't know.
seeds.
I don't think either.
I
of
got
these
it at
have
Walmart,
water.
so
I don't
couldn't
think either
expect
has
much.
water.
The produce section.
Walmart said.
You got it?
You have to add water.
There's not that much
For
difference.
this one, anyway.
Really?
Except the only difference is the 5
Yeah,
ingredients
this one
sound
has
a lot
12
better.
grams of
That
sugar.
one
On this
is-
one?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
calories per serving are the same. I mean, as far as fats and everything, it's pretty darn close.
Yeah, they'll try to
Yeah,
like
but
butter up the
If
meats a
you eat
bit.
that, you don't put
Organic
on that.
everything.
You eat this, you probably, some people are gonna put sugar on that.
True. I guarantee I put sugar and butter. And butter.
Is this your backpack, George? Is
What?
this your backpack?
Yeah,
Did you get new one?
I have like
So I
two.
eat like just plain regular.
double up.
Yeah, like the.
Yeah, sometimes
Yeah,
I just
So it's
I
gotta
just
have,
like pick
you
one
gotta
up
add
and put my
something.
books in it.
Very good.
Do you guys like them?
Cookies.
I've had each of them for a while, so
Yeah, I've had this one for a couple years.
It's kind of like the consistency of Gushers. That's why I chose it because it's like
Mine was not healthier at
it's a
all.
little like harder the exterior,
And it
but
says
when you
on
bite
the
into it, you get the. They're really good at promise.
They're about the same.
You want one?
Yeah. Mine were like same calories, same fat, same carbs.
I tried it. Some people
Yeah,
still
one
just
said
use that, but I
organic
don't
wheat
think
flour,
it-
and the other one just
I
said
mean,
wheat flour.
they're not gonna harm you, so.
Wow, that's a big difference.
Like a little
Apparently,
sour
I
cream
mean,
in the back of my
Apparently,
mouth.
that's worth another 10 cents a serving.
Organic wheat flour.
Alright, can I see a hand who's still working? Is anybody? Alright, one group.
Oh, sorry.
So yeah, we kinda get them.
We need the nutrients.
It has a lot of vitamins and minerals.
From
Got
constipation.
no vitamins. Not one, not a vitamin. Not a vitamin to be found. Definitely not A and C.
Modified things.
It's got some iron.
Did you guys find any other differences in carbs?
Isn't it iron?
It's only that's got 10% of your iron. Those ones 4.
Okay.
and we'll give this one more props. It sticks to your legs better.
That is fine.
The next one is.
You don't get as hungry as quickly.
Yeah. I would just not be able to
I think
eat
that's
this for
psychological,
breakfast.
Troy.
Like people that eat just this for breakfast.
why I take
I don't know how they do
backpacking.
it.
Yeah,
And
I
it
like
works.
a
Well,
lot for breakfast.
when I play golf,
Not big believer in
doesn't matter whether if I take a protein bar like this big, which is supposed to fill you up and has like triple the protein, or I take a sandwich this big that has like a third of the protein, I'm gonna get fuller off that, and I'm gonna stay fuller longer. It's psychological. Doesn't matter what it is, man.
I heard
It's all psychological.
oatmeal chocolate chip cookies.
They are. Yeah.
And it tastes better than the chocolate mint protein bars my mother buys. No bueno.
Well, they go under minerals.
Although she bought apple pie ones one time, they weren't as healthy. Gosh, they taste good. You eat like 6 of those. And still not be full.
You guys can keep working quietly, but we'll go ahead and get started. So let's start with this group. So just show what you have, what you're comparing, and what you found.
Okay, so we had Doritos Cool Ranch.
Mm.
And these simply balanced protein chips.
Organic.
Organic.
Organic. Alright, so what did you find for the cost? Was it about the same?
They were pretty much the same.
Okay. Serving size?
One was 11 chips, one was 12 chips.
Okay, so
pretty
not
similar.
too big of a difference. Cost per serving? Probably
About the same.
Yeah. Alright, what about the first 5 ingredients?
For the Doritos, it was corn, vegetable oil, maltodextrin, salt, and tomato powder. And then for the other one, it was organic yellow corn, sunflower oil, sea salt, and lime, and those were the only 4 ingredients listed.
And none that you couldn't pronounce, right, on that
Yeah.
one?
We didn't even go through all, there's a ton on this
Yeah,
one, and only 4.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, what about the calories?
This had 10 less calories, but this one had the smaller serving size, so again, it was like
Right,
the same
kind of balanced
basically.
out. Alright, and then what'd you find for the 6 essential nutrients?
Those were pretty similar as
Okay.
well. This one had a greater amount of calcium, but
Okay.
they were pretty similar too.
So even though the numbers came out the same, this one, you're eating 140 calories of, these kind of basic nutrients, ingredients, or you're eating a bunch of, factory-made, man-made chemicals. So you kind of have to look at it that way, but awesome job. All right, what about this group? What'd you have?
So we had Rice Krispie Treats and what I'm assuming is Quaker just rice cake. So for cost, this was $1. The rice cake was $2, but it came in a pack of a dozen. And this is only like 3. So the cost was only about 10 cents off
Okay.
per serving. For the first 5 ingredients, they're actually pretty similar. Where for the Rice Krispie Treat, it was toasted rice, marshmallow, fructose, margarine, and water.
Okay.
While for this one, the only ingredients were rice and salt.
Okay, so not too much added sugar.
Yeah, it's mainly just like the marshmallow and stuff that sets
Okay.
off. And for nutrients, this one's just salt and rice. This one is salt, rice, and sugar.
Okay. Awesome. Are you guys ready, or do you want me to skip over you?
We're good.
Okay, what'd you guys have?
We have pomegranate, and gushers.
Alright, and what'd you find for the cost of the item?
Pomegranates are more expensive, but only by like 50 cents.
Okay. What about the serving size?
Pomegranates they're 87 grams for half a cup, so that's about 170 grams ish, a little less. And then the gushers are 25 grams per pouch, so
Okay.
they're a lot less than a gusher's pouch.
Okay. What about the cost per serving?
Pomegranates are 99 cents per serving size, and gushers are 25 cents per serving size.
Okay. And then, so the cost is a little different there. What about the 5 ingredients?
Pomegranates are made out of pomegranates. And our gushers are made out of concentrated pears, corn syrup, sugar, modified cornstarch, and fructose.
Okay, so again with the sugar, the corn syrup being the second ingredient, which when you look at, I forgot to say this, when you look at the ingredient list, they're gonna go in order by how much there is. So if the first ingredient is sugar, that means the most ingredient that there is in that product is sugar. So that's probably not a good thing that corn syrup was the second one. That's all right. What about which one are we on? Calories?
Pomegranates had 72 calories and gushers had 9.
Okay, and then the 6 essential nutrients.
The vitamins, there's 14. Yeah, 14% vitamin C and 65% vitamin D. And then for gushers, there was only 10% of vitamin C. Minerals and water, there was none in gushers. And then there's iron and magnesium. I guess there's some water.
And this one looks like the gushers had a little bit higher percentage of carbohydrates, which is probably the simple carbs because of all that sugar. Which your simple carbohydrates are going to be the ones, it's like quick energy. So things that have high amounts in sugar are probably going to have the simple carbohydrates, whereas complex is going to be like your whole grains, beans, all that good stuff. No like refined anything. And then it looks like your Gushers had a little bit more fat than the pomegranate. Awesome. All right, what about you guys?
We had a Nature Valley oats and honey bar, and then some old-fashioned oats. And the
Fashion
cost,
American.
the plain oats had a serving size of a half a cup for 15 cents, and the other one had 2 bars for 50 cents.
Okay.
So the oats are definitely cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as ingredients, they're a lot better for the oats because they're 100% whole grain rolled oats.
And that's the
Right.
only ingredient?
That's the only
Awesome.
ingredient.
Okay.
And then the other one had oats and had the second greatest amount of sugar, since that was second on the ingredients list,
Okay.
as we just talked about. It also had more calories at 190 compared to 150.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't have any vitamins, but it did have minerals. So it had iron, but the oats had 10% compared to 4%
Okay.
in our bars. And the rest were about the same.
Okay. Awesome. All right, Jordan. Last
All right.
announcement.
So here's what we got, folks. We got a box of Cheez-Its, original, and we have a bag of Annie's homegrown cheddar square. So you can obviously imagine which one you think is going to be healthier, but let's get down to brass tacks. So we got each serving size is the same, 27 crackers each is a serving size. This is 23 cents per serving. This is 33 cents per serving. So really not that much difference. Your 5 first ingredients in here are enriched flour, vegetable oil, cheese with skim milk, salt, and paprika. And then here we're looking at organic wheat flour, sunflower oil, organic whole grain wheat, salt, and cheddar cheese. Now here's where it gets serious. Alright, vitamins, calcium, and iron. This has less than this does, believe it or not. Now your ingredients in here don't necessarily look as good, but you've got 2% vitamin A, 4% calcium, and 6% iron. And here you got 0, 2, and 4. So
Not a significant difference,
yeah,
but a
not
little
too
bit.
bad, but just a hair. So
Awesome.
There you go.
Well, good job, guys. That's all I have. Yeah.